Good morning. Or should I say good afternoon?
Appropriate greetings.
Greetings.
The Phil's comment, I saw 2 things on the agenda, which is 2 more than we usually have.
All right, we have a doodle.
Yep, we had the doodle, and there's the ongoing request. Can we release? Can we release? Can we release?
Why, yes, we can.
And we got an RC out there.
Yeah. Comments welcome.
Always easier when both Mike Browns show up. We don't have to guess which is which. Just like we know you're both here.
I'm the shiny one.
You don't have your normal picture in there, so I don't see the cowboy hat like I'm expecting to when you're screening on.
Let's see what we get here.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it looks like I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not logged in.
yeah. Without the cowboy hat, it's just a mystery.
All right, hold on. It's behind me, actually.
Right there. Yeah. It's a good hat.
That's close enough.
So this might be all we get today. We'll see. But the 2 items on there, the working group for the doodle, or the doodle for the working group, to be more correct. That is out there. I saw a bunch of responses already on it. So if people want to join the auth working group, make sure to fill that out. And the other big thing in there was, I think this was Josh asking if we can release the 1.1 sooner. We might need a bigger group for that discussion.
Does anyone here have reasons not to release it a little sooner?
The direction I was
Non-binding
going,
temperature check.
the direction I was going was implementations plus 2 weeks. And then I think the 6 weeks was just saying abroad, get a fixed number out there somewhere. I have heard people on some of the requests for feedback that I sent out. I think at least one said, hey, I'm busy right now, but I'll try to get it back to you. And they quoted the 6-week timeline. So they're kind of expecting to have that long to give feedback. To which I'm kind of, I didn't say it, but I was thinking it of, well, don't wait until week 5 to come in and say change everything. But I guess stop the presses before we hit the release button. Better before than after, but Hadi, how familiar are you on the ORS side with their progress on the 1.1 latest RC?
Whether they are ready with it or
Yeah, they merged any PRs over there and updated to support things like artifact type on the index.
I need to check that. I don't have the latest on the auras. Let me follow up. I can ping you. Yeah, later today. But if we put a date, I can make sure that they are done with that. Or are you looking more for feedback from the implementation, whether there are any issues?
I would say just in general, make sure that we've got multiple tools implementing this and they can all interoperate
Okay.
together.
Let me follow up. Sorry, I don't have the latest.
Yeah, no worries. Those over in the chat link into the 2.2.1 release that has RC4 support for image spec, apparently.
Yeah, it actually has a comment. Upgrade image spec to 110 RC4 to mitigate the missing annotation keys issue.
Yeah, we deleted a few annotations from the spec, so I'm assuming they're taking note of those deletions. This could be a really short call if nobody has any other agenda items. Giving it the customary few seconds here of silence for any last requests, but sounds like that's everything on the agenda. I can't think of anything else right now, but my week's been a little crazy, so I'm not in the best thinking position right now.
Brandon,
So-
we are all like that. Sorry, Mike, for jumping in front of you.
No, we both talked at the same time. Go ahead, Todd.
No, I was gonna mention that I think everybody else's week has been crazy. At least I know for mine too. But go ahead, Mike.
Subject to the artifacts being archived, was there any additional documentation changes that we needed to make in the, in the .io TOB records?
Quite possibly. I don't know off the top of my head, but quite possibly.
I didn't do a review of those kinds of documents.
Yeah, I know a lot of other places have linked into it, so that's why I wanted to make sure that top level just had that link over to saying, hey, look over here now.
Done.
It is
Now
done.
we just have to move some content over and make it. But I don't think any of that is necessarily 1.1 content related in the spec. In my mind, these are tertiary, helper kind of documents that don't need a release unless we literally have to do a change in the spec. So maybe there's a way to split that up. I don't know if you had mentioned the possibility of reducing manifest.md. So I was sort of curious if you were going to follow with that or just leave what's there rather
For
than
now, I was,
PRCs.
yeah, for now, that last PR that got merged, I was keeping it simple of saying, let's just at least get the redirect pointer in there for someone to use as a
Yeah.
landing spot.
Okay.
If folks want to come in and do a future PR, we can discuss that then. I don't have any hard opinion either way there.
Yeah, I was thinking just additional examples, a little more hand holding on the how would you use IANA, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And to your point, I think a lot of that is not version specific. And that's
Right.
I think a lot of the discussion was going back and forth on the artifact side said, hey, we need a 1.1 release over here. And I was always thinking, well, there isn't a 1.0 release of the artifact repo intentionally because it was always designed to be more of a living thing.
Right. Yeah, it would be nice if there was if you were on 1.0 and you did this, please go here and do this kind of discussion. Although you did cover that in the refers API a little bit, but
The refers API covers that, and from the end user usage of this, I don't think there's any hard requirement of saying the 1.0 in there. Let me try to rephrase this.
hard. It's more of a handhold, right?
Yeah, let me
If you make
try
it
to
completely independent of the version, then you would want to have at least a paragraph or two that says, right?
let me try to rephrase a little bit. If I am creating an artifact, I shouldn't care if the person receiving it has image spec 1.1 or 1.0, because if they are 1.1, maybe they've got a few extra fields in there. But if they didn't have those fields to start with, what are they really trying to read and load in here? What are they doing with the artifact that they're trying to receive it?
And it would be things around like how annotations might have been used in the past where those fields were not there. That's sort of it.
So the direction I'm
But
going
yeah,
with
you
it
don't
is,
really want to go into too much detail there. I'm just trying to, when we go to 1.2, it'll become more interesting what would be here if you were on 1.1, right? And in 1.2, if we add the artifact manifest, for example, then you'd want to have a little guide there.
yeah, the direction I'm going is if I produce the artifact with 1.1 and I use the artifact type field because I couldn't put it in the config media type, and someone else has a tool that copies images and they only know about the 1.0 spec, it
Yeah.
still works. There's no changes on their side they need to. So this is fully backward compatible at that point. That you can copy these things around because content addressable, you never change what you copy. You just take it verbatim.
That is the rule.
From that standpoint, it doesn't affect them at all. And so they can still work with it. We only added new fields in there. We didn't break any existing fields.
Right. And I guess, I mean, if you're writing a registry, please don't delete the fields that we added in 1.1. And then, yeah, I don't know. We could talk about it.
Yeah. Registry shouldn't change content anyway. So
My question was more along the lines of the kinds of guidance that you would want to put there. As I'm looking at what we have today, and not just already in artifacts, but we had a couple of PRs that never got merged, and there's some external links to the work group, stuff, and also, some third-party implementations in existence to consider.
my thought process is along the lines of, if you have something that needs the 1.1 image manifest to ship your artifact, it's probably on both ends. The sender and the receiver are both looking for that new media type because you need it for whatever you're doing. And so any intermediate tooling shouldn't break it because it's content addressable and they're not changing it. And the endpoints both work with it effectively, and they're not affected by this OCI version in between.
That's a good point. And that's probably a good thing to be in that document. So yeah. I like it. All right, that works. Mostly I just wanted to make sure we weren't gonna have any spec information in that document unless we really do want to.
Yeah. I feel like the only thing that we might be missing from the artifacts repo might be individual implementations that want to just sign up and say, hey, I'm an image spec implementer. And I'll leave that up to them individually to chime in with the PR, because I don't want to put someone's name on something that they don't want to be named.
Yeah. Maybe something on the image repo.
We've got an implementations
there.
file in the image repo already. I know
Okay.
I'm in there. I'm pretty sure a bunch of others that were already in there were
Already there.
on both sides. So
That'll
I don't
work.
think there's much missing.
Okay.
In fact, that was the file I used when I went out and did my little round robin to all the repos
Hey,
to
I remember.
say, hey,
Okay.
just
I
heads
didn't
up, we
check.
got a new release. I just went
What
down the
about these?
list.
Gotcha. Okay. And now I know the rest of the story on that PR. Insider joke. Sorry, guys.
There you
All right.
Cool. Otherwise, how long are we leaving the doodle up? Do we say anywhere?
Don't see an expiration on it.
Yeah. It was put up by
I'm
Sajay, so we would have to
clicking
ask
on
him and he's not
buttons.
here.
Yeah, I'm clicking on buttons right now. You see, we've
But
got
yeah,
1, 2,
I'm-
3. It looks like Ram Kumar
Yeah,
and
Rom's here.
myself hadn't, were the ones that hadn't put it in.
Yep. So anybody that wants to join that, feel free. We can talk auth stuff. Actually, Rom, you would be a good person to talk about auth. And Rom's in there. He's already answered.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I never know which Mike Brown is in there. So since you said you haven't done it, that means you're the Mike Brown that didn't answer it.
I'm doing it. I'll hopefully mine will say Mike. I'll try.
As long as we get both of you in there, all our problems are solved.
All right.
All right.
You can
That's the
form
call to
a-
action for the week.
Form a working group to rename me to a less confusing name if you want.
I just want to get both of you with a
How long-
content addressable
How
digest.
long could it possibly take?
We're going to give each of you an immutable digest.
There you go. I think I'd be more flattered if you could remember my digest.
Star 256. Let's see.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a 512, that would be a very long one to remember.
Yeah. It's
All right,
pluggable.
folks.
It's actually pluggable right now. All right.
On that note, have a great rest of your week. And yeah, see everybody in the Slacks. If you got any questions between then and next week.
All right, man. Cheers.
See you,
Cheers.
folks.
Thanks, bye.